There we are. All right, we're going to try something. You're going to have to ignore the mutts. I got a blue dog here. And Ava. And they're wild. There, yes, I am live. Hello, lady in the woods. Scottish wild man. I don't think the slot's going to work very good here. Kind of a glare. Anyway, Ava, we're outside listening, but something's come to my attention recently. I work for a trucking company that I work on the trucks, and a company leases our trucks has been worried here lately. There's been certain items that they cannot get, but now we're having a DEF shortage. Now, if you don't know what DEF is, if I can pull it together long enough here to figure out how to share my screen. Here we go. Hash. All right, here we go. DEF fluid is diesel exhaust fluid, and there's a shortage of it. And of course, you know, they're not taking credit for it here in our country. And maybe they can't produce it here in our country because they have been exporting jobs and factories and such, you know, out of country for quite a while now. But the food company that leases our trucks, they're having a hard time getting it now. It's getting harder and harder to get, and if you do get it, it's like everything else, you're paying more for it. But apparently they no longer manufacture it here in this country. Okay. So what I'm getting at is you need to stock up. And a channel that I follow, and she's absolutely wonderful. Appalachia's Homestead with Tara. I'm gonna copy the link and I'm gonna put it in here, and y'all go check her out. She just passed 300,000 subscribers. A really good, God-fearing lady. And I'll try to remember to put this in the description later. But y'all check her out. She's got a lot of good ideas and such. And just a wonderful, wonderful person. And she's been talking about this for a while. And I've been meaning to, but life just keeps getting in the way. And I haven't really had a chance to do it. But if you haven't started already, you know, you can start small. And, you know, I don't want anybody to go out and do a big, you know, buy up all the toilet paper type deal thing. But go out and pick up, you know, a couple extra cans of food. You know, look at the dates on them. See how long they keep. Get them for some food you can get a couple of years out. Like I'm using some food now that I bought 4 years ago. I've been stocking for a while. Things like sugar, rice, coffee, things like these keep for a long time. Get you some powdered milk and try to get it in a better container that's airtight. You can also buy off the internet these little packets that absorb the oxygen. What I do is I take old juice jugs and put my rice and stuff down them, then put one of the air absorbers in top of it and get them as full as you can. You want all the oxygen you can out of it. But it's fixing to get really bad, y'all. I wish I would have thought to add the banner here, but I didn't. But you know, this Build Back Better is not, you know, it's not going good for us. Gas here's it'll be $5 a gallon before too long. I think it was $4.59. I've got to fill my truck up tomorrow. It was $4.59 a gallon for unleaded for the cheap stuff. Uh, that's over double what it was a couple of years ago. In return, the the companies that ship food and ship everything are passing, that cost of them having to pay more for fuel onto the consumers. It's I just wonder who this Build Back Better is really for. I mean, phase one seems to be, hey, let's tear it all down and destroy it so we can build it back better. But who are we building it back better for? Is what I'm wondering. This right here hurts truck drivers. I mean, look at that DEF fluid. There's a lot of people out there they posted videos and everything about this and how they can't afford to operate their trucks anymore. And they won't be able to afford to until they get, a pay raise from the companies that routes them or whatever. And those companies, the only way that they can give these drivers a pay raise is to charge more. Go to McDonald's and try to buy something from the dollar menu. It ain't what it used to be. I remember, which it's been a while since I've ate any of that garbage food. I actually don't go to McDonald's or any other those other places. That's just garbage food. But there ain't much on there anymore. Hello, Pappy, Rodney, Tommy. Amen, Tommy. That's it. That's the main goal. If you can't afford to go out and save anything or stock anything, we're only here for a little while in this life. But if you take the Lord Jesus Christ into your soul, you've got no worries. I mean, that's forever. If you take Him as your Savior, then you're good. I think there's going to be a lot of hell on earth, and we're fixing to hit some struggles, guys. And yesterday, the guy I work with, he's been getting letters in the mail, and he told me that one of his friends had, I'm just throwing this number out there, had $100,000 home with maybe an acre of property here. I guess it's in Louisa, Kentucky. But they've been getting handwritten letters in the mail from people from like New York City. For instance, the guy I work with, his friend, received a letter in the mail asking if he wanted to sell. The guy didn't have his house up for sale or anything, and the guy said, "I hadn't really thought about it," and I guess the guy asked him how much it appraised for, and he said like $100,000. That's not an exact figure, and this isn't an exact figure, but I do know the guy from New York offered him triple of what he told him, so $300,000 for $100,000 house. And like I said, the guy I work with, he's been getting letters. I haven't got no letters, and I ain't, I'm not selling that to nobody. But people's getting out of the cities. A lot of people can see this coming. But if you're in a smaller town or a smaller neighborhood, if you're in the city and you can't afford to get out, then God bless you. I mean, but what everybody needs to be doing is getting together with their neighbors and watch who you talk to about it and stuff. I mean, you don't want the local dopehead in your group or anything, but get with like-minded folks. Like maybe this guy's got a talent of beekeeping, and then this guy's a doctor. People like that. People that knows a trade, handymans or whatever, and start putting it together. Everybody ought to have a garden, whatever space. If you've got a tiny yard, fill it up with garden plants. I don't care if you use buckets or whatever. It's going to get tight, y'all, and people's going to start really. I don't know why I'm doing this. People's going to really go wild. This girl, come here. Give me a toy. Hey, come here. Come here. Oh, good girl. Good girl. Boo, you want up here too? Come on. Hey! bit my hand trying to bite Blue. No, she don't bite hard, but she nips Blue. Is the instigator. He wants to nip at her, and then she tries to bite him back, and they go round and round. But I noticed today she's got a. Well, I noticed it yesterday. She's got a bit of a limp. It was more pronounced this evening whenever I got home. Hey, Ava, and probably from all the ball throwing and running. I don't know what's going on with her. I'm going to try to get her to the vet. Hopefully, if it ain't raining tomorrow, I can take her to the vet to get her some shots and stuff. But yeah, she's got a limp. Bad. It's like maybe her hips or something. And I don't know. My buddy, they seen the people drop him out. And he said this is the second dog that's been dropped out. He lives on a farm about 30 minutes away from me. Hey, bye. I'll quit. Blue, leave her alone. Blue's wanting to play, and she just wants to get her head petted. You're all about getting the head petted. We ain't throwing nothing tonight. You ran too much yesterday. From England. English and the Scottish. Oh, y'all don't start fighting. A zombie. Here's another guy. Zombie farmer. Y'all check him out too. He's a channel that I keep up with. I know I don't always comment. I always give the like. I don't always comment, but I try to watch all these videos whenever I get time. But y'all check that channel out too. I'll put that down in the description. Another good guy, another good God-fearing man. But yeah, guys, I think we're getting ready to really get hit hard, man. We're really going to start struggling. And I don't know. I was watching a video today. It's as a country, we're getting to where we kind of deserve it. Some of the things that's going on, like I was watching a video today about transgenders, cross dressers in a bar dancing for children. People's bringing their children to watch this stuff. And there's people there protesting and stuff, which they shouldn't. But all this going on, I think well, I know the election was stolen. We're paying way too much right now for goods and services, gas, whatever. I really don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it's going to take for people to just say, "Hey, this is enough," and that's enough. Getting things are easier if you go to local swap shops, tools, plastic, anything. Yeah, they have. I mean, there's like different things you can do. Like on Facebook, somebody showed me this. These people all go on there and they actually have options now of things that they're getting discounts somehow. And people's buying it up. I mean, from meats to baby food, they've had a lot of stuff, and it's actually cheaper than going to the stores and stuff to get them. But if you got people, if you don't have room to grow your own garden, to grow your own food, but you know somebody that does, ask them if they want some help and say, hey, look, we'll share in on this. I mean, gardening's a lot of work. If you've got a place to put chickens, get you some chickens. They ain't got to be free range. You can keep them in occasional. Be just tickled to death. I free range mine because I can. I got room for it. I've been keeping you in my prayers, Pappy. Edible acres. I've never heard of that. But some of these people, I guess I shouldn't say anything, but some of these people are just in it for the money, to be honest with you. I got my old work corncob pipe out. I've got it. Yeah, I hit it every once in a while. These on occasion. Yes, it's nighttime here. It's 9:33. But I don't get on here enough and talk about these things. I mean, really, I don't have enough time. Right now, I'm trying to get dogs and stuff took care of, and then the farm. I got my garden caught up. Actually, I finished it, got it caught up. Well, you don't ever get it caught up, but I've got everything. I've got everything planted, and it don't look too bad as far as weeds or anything like that. So that's always good. But like here, for instance, I've got I've got the pigs and stuff. The neighbor's got he's got beef. You know, my kinfolk around here, everybody's got big gardens. We've talked about all this and what's going on, and some of these people voted for the feller in there right now. But I guarantee he don't get their vote again. You ought to hear him now. And I try to reason with him and talk to him, but because the last one had mean tweets. He was just horrible. But now I think they're starting to realize. Hang on a second, y'all. I can't find water under this room. Now they're starting to realize that I think we can look over a few mean tweets, which most of the time his tweets was retaliatory and petty, just to be honest with you. But we had it pretty good. Yes, it really is. I mean, my tater patch has been really bragged on. I think I got it's probably just all top though. Probably no spuds in the ground. I will check them out. Scottish Wild Man. I don't really get to get on YouTube a whole lot anymore. I'm sure that'll change once it heats up around here. But it's just been. I got another project I'm fixing to start. I'm thinking about building a smokehouse / greenhouse. Not really sure how it's going to work out because you got to have windows in there. And with the smoke, I'm going to have to figure out a way to cover my windows so they don't get stained up. Would y'all quit? Exactly, Pappy. Like the ant and the grasshopper story. The ant sat there and prepared and prepared and prepared. And then wintertime hits in. The grasshopper, he didn't do nothing but lay around, was lazy. And he wasn't ready for it. And there's going to be a lot of people ready for it. And like I said, no person is an island. We all need help. We all can't. I mean, you got lone wolves. I'm kind of a lone wolf, but I've got people like, we've actually got a plan in place. I got nurses, I got ex-Marines, ex-Army, just all carpenters, all sorts of different people that we've got a plan in place. And most of these people are my family, but there's a few friends mixed in there too. So you got to have a plan. And it may not happen tomorrow. You might wake up and gas be down to $1.50 and everything's cheap. They're just giving it away, but I don't think so. I think he had it straightened out. Well, I haven't heard no wood boogers tonight. Now, I don't know. I put out a video earlier about a couple rocks stacked on the bridge. I don't know. A new dog. My thoughts. I don't know. I don't think dogs really stack rocks, but there's two rocks there. Now I got two dogs, and right at the end of the bridge, which they put stuff right there on that bridge before. I looked for tracks, didn't find any tracks. But I'm doing it live on my laptop and kind of listening. I haven't heard nothing tonight. Old dummy here forgot to plug in his phone last night and charge it up. My phone's dead. I just now plugged it in. Right. Well, I go by actions, not words. Actions. And shutting down pipelines for to make us depend on other people. No bueno. It's no good, man. Don't shut down the pipelines. But it's all part of an agenda. That means what they want is for people. This is how stupid they are. They want people to buy these cars that you can plug in. And then where do they think that energy comes from? And then, what happens? They run them off a special battery, lithium, and I think all that's mined over in Afghanistan, or a lot of it is, which is, full of people that don't like us either. Why do we want to get all our stuff off the people that hate us? It makes no sense. Green smoking gas. Yeah, I've got all this from the ice storm. I've got all these boards, and I've got enough to make it. And I've already got a concrete pad with a concrete table out there. And I was watching a feller. Man, I cannot remember the name of that channel. There's another girl, Hannah something, Barra, something like that. But it's her Paul, and he built one, which he used tin siding and stuff on his, and then he put a stove on the outside, and he had a pipe going through it. And I thought, well, that's brilliant. But I'm wanting to put a pipe, and I'm going to put a T where I can stop the smoke from going up with a dampener or whatever, and come out, or I could let the smoke go up whenever I got my greenhouse, whenever I got my plants in there, just have the smoke go up and not out into the greenhouse. But that pipe will heat up the greenhouse good enough for the plants to start growing. Because if you're going to smoke stuff, you're going to do that in the fall. If you're going to use a greenhouse, you're going to do that in late winter, early spring. Start your plants off. Or some people have greenhouses now; they can run them year round. Yeah, that's all they do. It's insane. Did Russia shut down our pipelines? No. Did Russia have all of our companies move out of the country because they tax them to death, or whatever? But here's another thing: we've got a serious problem in this country about this generation coming up now, generation whatever, Z or whatever the heck they are, the millennials or whatever. Laziest bunch of critters I ever seen, and they don't have a good thought as far as work ethic. They just pass it down to the next guy will take care of it type of attitude. And then if something don't go their way, and the boss says, "Hey, you can't do that," I'll just quit and go home. And I'm thinking, man, what do these people not have bills? What's going on here? Do they not want a vehicle? They just, I couldn't imagine just quitting my job unless I had something else lined up. I couldn't imagine it. But I guess mommy and daddy takes care of them, and it's just, I don't know. Something's going to have to change there too, because there's people the company's begging for people to come and work for them, and the workforce is just hardly non-existent now. Exactly. It's unbelievable. Yeah, we've got some of the biggest oil reserves in the world, and they're just sitting on them. And let me tell you, if we can make these cars be just as good and as cheap as running them off gasoline or whatever, so be it. I'd be all for it. You know what I'm saying? If I could There, I don't know of any place around here where you can plug a car in, besides, I guess, your house or whatever. But then to get that energy to charge up that battery on that car, they're burning coal. So, where do they think the energy comes from? It's insane. It is a world problem, and it all boils down to good versus evil. Every bit of it boils down to good versus evil. And I think these leaders are just of a different sort. Uh, Man, to be honest with you, I think they're Nephilim. I honestly do. I think you've heard the term blue bloods. I think they're different than we are. Derived of the fallen angels. That's what I think. I mean, I honestly think that these people are pure evil. Pure evil. I'm talking about doing the most evil thing you could think of to kids and other things. And, they're promoting drag queen bar time for kids and stuff, and people buying into it. Drag queens for the kindergartens. They ought to read up on Sodom and Gomorrah and what happened there, because it didn't work out real good for them. It's insane. I mean, it's like they're trying to tear the country down. I don't know. And then there's people in there with just bad info, and they're pumping out hopium, is what they call it. Pumping out the hope. Look, things ain't going to change, and I don't care. Trump. I'm saying Trump was better than Biden, but I still don't trust Trump. And y'all might get mad at me for that, but there's a lot of things that he did that I didn't like the whole vaccine deal. They pushed that out. This is a new sort of vaccine. And I know you ain't going to hear this on the mainstream media or anything, but you can go look. Even the American Heart Association talked about people having more heart attacks that was vaccinated and stuff. My whole family's vaccinated, just about. And it tears me up that they would put something in their body that they have no idea what the effects of it is. I mean, I really don't want to talk about that because, man, that really makes me mad. And that's what I'm saying. Where's all the Christians at on all this going on, man? Am I the only one that's outraged about this? We need something needs to be done. I don't know what the answer is, but there's a lot of people that's smarter than me. And if we can get people together on this, then I guarantee if something like that was going on around me, I'd be there. They would hear about it. Yeah. They're all hypocrites, and they're all. He promoted it though. He promotes it, says he's got it and everything else. But I don't know. Is that not crazy, Sarge? I don't make that much. Maybe I need to renegotiate my pay. But here in the coal fields, we've always kind of got screwed out things. Like if I was in Florida where I'm working at now, I'd probably make $30 an hour doing the same job I do now. Yeah, I gotta get my dog some water. Hang on. Hey. You better be good to my blue dog. Well, quit being an instigator. You're just a troublemaker. Yeah, he's a troublemaker. What a miss here. Thank you for your service. I probably missed a lot. Truth. Yeah, I mean, I try not to argue or anything. I try not to get excited. I mean, anybody that's watched me for a while knows I don't really get excited. It takes a lot, like maybe a tree getting pushed down on me or something, or a booger throwing something at me. But yeah, you can't get excited. I mean, but it's so what it's just frustrating. Which, like I said, some people are starting to realize what's going on now. But that would sit there and try to argue about different things, and now they're seeing it. And I guess we got midterms this year. I guarantee there's going to be a lot of people losing their jobs. Amen, Pappy. I mean, could you imagine something like this happening 20 years ago? Just 20, heck, can you imagine 10 years ago? Some things like that's going on today happening 10 years ago and people putting up with it, much less 20 or much less 50 years. 50 years ago, they'd have them tarred and feathered. Yeah, there's, like I said, I haven't been keeping up with a whole lot of current events. Like this DF thing, I guess it's been out for like a week now, and I'm just hearing about it. Like, it's been within the last couple of days. I don't watch the news anymore. You can't believe anything you see on any of them. I don't care if it's Fox, CNN. They've all got an agenda. All of them. See, there you go. Maybe y'all can hook up there, Pappy. And I think that's what we're going to have to get back to. You know, my papa, wise man, he told me whenever he bought this farm, I don't know what brought it up or what was going on, but he told me that one of these days families are going to need a family farm again. And I think we're about there. That's why I've been working so hard to try to get this place in order and try to get things going. And it's tough. It's tough work. I love it. God, I love it. I wish I didn't have to go to work. And if I could make this place pay and be comfortable, then I wouldn't worry about going into work. But I mean, it's hard work, and I don't know. I tend to take more breaks nowadays than I did 10 years ago, but I still get it done. Where is that at, Sarge? I probably missed it somewhere. Yeah, it's always in summertime. You know, these riots and stuff start happening again. Like all these mass shootings that's going on right now. Isn't this odd? That's I think a lot of it's false flags, and in false flags, people do die. But for like the one down in Texas, man, it just God, that makes me angry. And I've never been in law enforcement. People say, "Well, you've never been in law enforcement. You can't tell." Look, I don't care if you're in law enforcement. I don't care if you're none. I don't care if what you are. You hear babies getting shot. You don't just stand there and do nothing. And if you do, you ought to be in a different line of work, man. That broke my heart. That's one thing I did keep up with in the news, but I don't even like to think about think about such things. But I think it was also a false flag. They're wanting our guns. That's what's keeping us afloat here. They've got people willingly, willingly now trying to suppress another side and giving away their freedom of speech. They're doing it willingly or wanting to take their neighbor's freedom of speech, their fellow Americans' freedom of speech. No, you can't say that. You can't say that. There'll probably be some kind of stupid thing below this video from YouTube talking about, well, you are take the vaccine. The FDC says that there ain't no aborted fetuses in it. And there it is. Pardon my language, but Pappy was a hell of a man. Y'all check him out too. You talk about a wise feller. I love you to death, Pappy. And it's people like this, man. I don't think we're ever going to see people like this. People like this. People still go, people like this. I mean, God bless y'all, man. You're the only reason that our country's still here. And nowadays, they're trying to pick a fight with us. They're trying to pick a fight with China. And all the while, our country's worried about being social justice. Our army, all our military forces are worried about being social justice warriors and gay pride and, trains this and trains that and all these things. And they're just not, like Russia or China. Those people are making soldiers, real soldiers. And again, I've never been in the military. I had a health thing where I couldn't join it. I tried after 9/11. I tried to join the Marines, but I couldn't because of the health thing. And I'm glad I didn't because 9/11 was a bunch of junk too. Thank you, Pappy. But I'm saying, like, my daddy could work me underneath the table. My papa could work my daddy underneath the table. And that was some true people. That's what I was thinking about today, man. I ought to go over and videotape and interview Uncle Bob for a while. You talk about a hell of a man. That old man there. I mean, and we ain't going to see it anymore. It's sad. Now we got people that if, the boss says something that just is not totally nice, like, hey, man, your break's over. I'll just quit and I'll go to the house. You get generals out there waving rainbow flags. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's not looking good. Is anybody in the military that's in the chat right now? I mean, what's your all's opinion? I like to kind of hear some opinions about all this. Yeah, or if you're talking about 9/11, yeah, I don't think that I don't think Muslim terrorists had anything to do with them buildings coming down. And what was it? Building 7 came down. Nothing ever touched you. It caught on fire. Yeah, it's just all. I think it was some kind of, going back to it all boils down to good versus evil and the Nephilim. I think it was all a big sacrifice, ritual sacrifice for Satan. You just retired. I mean, so what's your opinion of what's going on in the military right now? And God bless you. Hello, Hoosier. Bless your heart. These old fellas having a good time in the chat. It makes me happy. Yeah, and then the Pentagon got hit, and it just happened to, what was it, Donald Rumsfeld, I think so it was, had announced all this money that was missing and stuff. And where the Pentagon was hit at is where they kept those records at. Look, man, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining, y'all. I mean, and this stuff's coming out, and stuff like this keeps coming out, and people are getting more degenerate. And man, where's all the good people? Why ain't we standing up here? We need to stand up, folks. I hear you, bud. So I don't know. Man, I don't know, but if anybody watches this, I hope they just at least see the first part, man. Get ready, y'all. If these trucks shut down, if there ain't no DF, man, I wish Zombie Farmer, I don't know if he's covered this or not. Like I said, I've just been too busy to get online much. But these modern trucks that we've got, say, I don't know when they started, maybe 8 years ago, 8 years ago, they have to have diesel exhaust fluid. Thank you, EPA. And what this stuff does is clean out the exhaust, and it'll spray this stuff. It's got a couple chemicals in it. One of them's urea, and it'll spray into the exhaust system and break up that particles. Meanwhile, now listen, this is what the EPA is making them do. Meanwhile, that engine's cranking the RPMs to get the exhaust system hard enough to burn these particles out. And where's all these particles going? Where's all this extra diesel fuel to do this going? Back in that, how's that making any sense? It's going back out in the atmosphere. Makes no sense at all, even doing that. But these trucks if the trucks run out of that, the trucks will go into a D rate, which means that the trucks will do about 10 mile an hour. And if they ain't got that, then, everything, the country stops. It just stops. They have to have it. The truck stops, the country stops. You ain't going to find nothing. Everything's going to be in short supply. Yeah, I'd say them poppy fields was being protected by the CIA. It's all look. It's all a bunch of rich people sending a bunch of poor people to get killed. Is what it's been lately. Yeah, everywhere, and it's been allowed to happen. Yeah, there will be no goods on the shelves. You thought, I mean, remember just that little recent history. COVID hit, people, whenever they first announced it and they predicted, there's going to be 30 million people dying the first year alone, and da da da. And the fear porn was just pouring out of the news and all these politicians. You couldn't find a roll of toilet paper on the shelf. You couldn't find it. That's going to be everything. Toilet paper is going to be the least of your worries. You ain't going to be able to find a can of corn on the shelves. And you think about it. People out in California right now, I seen a story the other day. A guy shooting another guy because he was stealing his gas. And they say, well, this happens all the time. If they're going to steal people over a few gallons of gas, you wait till people get hungry. You ever been real hungry? You wait till people get real hungry. And even, I mean, people that you wouldn't think about. If they got babies to feed or something like that, I mean, it's going to get, God, I couldn't imagine being in the city. It's going to get ugly. Yeah, that's another thing y'all can look up. It's called Flee the City. And people's we got. I didn't know this till the other day. I was talking to the neighbors got cows. He's telling me about a bunch from Florida that's living up on these hollers. They got no water, no electricity. They're staying up there in the camper. And then there's another guy from California that's not too far from me. Another bunch from. I didn't even know all this was going on, and they're paying really good for these little plots of land here and there. How's your what's the word on the street with the drivers? I mean, I'd say you're also having a heck of a time right now. The fuel price alone was enough for a lot of them to. I mean, there's a lot of them just calling it. They can't afford it. They're calling it quits. They can't afford it no more. But now with the DEF shortage, good night. It's going. They're not getting our guns. Sorry. When was that? The doctor got killed. It's crazy what people do. I mean, I don't know, man. But that's a lot of this started back in the 70s with the hippie movement, and morals have just tanked, and it keeps getting worse and worse. When my little nephew was down here, he talked about all these that he's fifth, sixth grade, something like that, talking about how all his friends are, well, this girl, she's a transgender, and then this boy's gay. And I was thinking, man, I never had any, sexual thoughts at all whenever I was that age. I mean, they're being programmed is what's going on. They're being brainwashed. 52. But yeah, these kids, man, bless their hearts. And here my sister's little boy, he's been raised and brought up Baptist church, and I said, I mean, we just talked, and I was like, well, what do you think about that? And he's like, I don't know. He said, I think they're crazy. He's like, he even said, I don't know why they think about such things. And I was like, well, there you go. And I guess they pick on him and stuff like that because because he's being him and not joining the woke crowd. And he said, I mean, his mom's had to call, the other mom, say, hey, what's your kid doing? Da, 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 this and that. And some of the kids are probably good kids, but they're just, the peer pressure's got to them. Well, she's going to get you, you turds. But I told him, I was like, well, look, whenever they pick on you, just smile at them, tell them God loves them. And said, don't worry about them. I was like, look, before you know it, you'll be out of school. You won't never have to see these people again. And like I said, he's a good kid. He's like the star of the soccer team and all that. Just he's pretty intelligent, and he's already doing weed eating and stuff like that. I mean, there is hope. I mean, I'm not just saying that because he's my nephew, but he's a good kid, and I know there's a lot of them out there. But it just seems like the other, and maybe it's because they have a bigger mouthpiece. We are playing. Yeah. I mean, that's the problem there. I don't know, but I don't know what's wrong with people. But you're right, they do that. Look, they said Texas was in play during this last election. Arizona, Arizona, they said went Democrat, but with all this the cheating and stuff going on. I mean, I don't know. I guess we just take it, right? That's what we do. We just take it. We just let them do whatever. Mind our own business. It seems like it's every day now. Well, guys, I guess I'm going to stop ranting here and go get me a shower and probably go to bed. And I've been getting up early, trying to beat the heat out in the garden today. I went out and sprayed along my fence line and stuff. Or I weed eated and trying to keep the weeds down a bit, getting in my fence. Everybody try to be nice to each other. We need to figure out how to get our country back. We need Jesus to come back tonight. Right now would be a good time. Lord help us all. But get up with your neighbors, get up with people that you trust. Start buying that extra, a little bit extra food here and there. I don't know. I mean, it's going to take all of us to stop it. I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there fighting and exposing a lot of this stuff, but they've got, like I said, they've got a bigger mouthpiece. The news is bought and paid for by the demons. But that's probably your answer right there. Yep. I cut it all down and sprayed it, and then there's some old posts running down through there, and I cut the brush line back from the old where the old fence line used to be at, and I sprayed a bunch of it. Had rambling roses and everything. And just a lot of it was from had to move from the ice storm, but I got it pretty good. So now I can use those posts again. A couple of them got knocked down, but I can save a little bit of material using the old wooden posts. They're good posts. They've been there since I've been alive. They're a locust post, so they ought to be good. Yeah, it's time to start. I mean, people, like I said, I've been gathering things here and there as I can for about 5 years now. I mean, the writing's been on the wall. You just got to kind of look and, I mean, just see, we keep spiraling down and down and down further. And there's just sick people out there. And I don't think God's going to put up with it much longer, but it's going to get worse before it gets better, I think. Good deal. Man, if y'all don't care, put some of them links underneath this video whenever I get done with it, and I'll put the ones I was talking about up. Uh, I don't know. Listen to them. They say stuff better than I do. I'm just wanting to get it out there to anybody that might be watching this, man. Just start getting ready. Most of all, get that soul ready. That's what really counts. That's what counts. Everybody, keep Pappy Two Bears in your prayers. Lance and Melanie in your prayers. I know they're both going through tough times right now. We're all going to hit tough times. We all need to be helpful to each other. I think prayer goes a long way. But them two's been with me for a while now. I love them. Yep, still getting them. Want to try if we can catch the daggum thing. Turns out I'm not a very good cowboy. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I I don't know. I'm not very good at wrangling mules. This mule's been out, and it's kind of been on its own for the last 2 years because the woman's dad had passed a few months ago. Now her mom's sick with cancer, and they just ain't had time to do it to mess with all them things, and it's kind of gone wild. So it keeps getting out and all that, and yeah, I'm a terrible failure at mule wrangling. I'm awful at it. Oh, Sharon, get ready to jump off here. Glad you could join us. I'm gonna work on it. Definitely the guy at the head of the holler. He's got all kinds of nice property and stuff, but he's got some donkeys, and he said he'll have some this fall, and I will be first on the list because all the ones he's got right now are already people's already. I guess there's a run on donkeys too, and I'd say that's because of the coyote population. I'm surprised we ain't heard nothing tonight. To be honest with you. There you go. That's around here hardly nothing gets thrown away because you could always use it on down the line. I've got car toppers out there that I got flipped upside down, split in two, and I'm using for onions and carrots. So yeah, out here, I mean, you gotta be frugal. You don't throw nothing away because you don't want. If for me to go to a store to find a part is at least 2 hours being gone. I ain't got time for that. I try to get everything during the week while I'm in town. All right, guys. Guys, I'm gonna get off here. Show these critters some attention. They're getting along better. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for joining. Stock up, love each other. Take care of that soul, y'all. That's what counts. Take the Lord Jesus Christ into your heart and for your personal Savior. It don't take much. Ask God for forgiveness and acknowledge that Jesus is the Christ and He is the sacrifice to forgive all your sins. Ain't none of us perfect, but all we can do is try. Everybody have a good night. God bless.